Hi everyone, it's Sherry with Sherry Sweet Sensations. Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel for another great cake recipe. Tonight we're going to be making a chocolate cake with an orange flavored buttercream with a decadent chocolate ganache drip coming down the side. This cake is going to be amazing. Also, the chocolate cake is going to be infused with orange zest. So you're going to have oranges everywhere in the frosting, in the cake, in the ganache, and it's going to be absolutely delicious. So let's get started. Let's talk about what we're going to need to make this cake. First off, let me explain something. Tonight I'm making a smaller version of this cake, but in the description box I'll make sure to put the recipe there for a 3-layer 9-inch pan cake. So you're going to be able to make 3 9-inch cake pans for this cake. Okay, so let's get started with what we have. I'm going to start with 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1½ cups of sugar. I'm going to have 3/4 of a cup of cocoa. I'm going to have 2 eggs. I'm going to have 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk, and in my buttermilk I actually use regular milk infused with vinegar to give me my buttermilk. You're welcome to go ahead and use the store-bought buttermilk, but I find that this gives my cakes a lighter texture when I do it this way. So all I did was take 3/4 of a cup of regular, I actually used 2% milk tonight, and then I put in 1/2 tablespoon, a little bit more, of white vinegar. So that's my buttermilk. Then I have 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. I have 1/2 cup of hot water. And then I have this amazing orange zest. So this is the zest of 2 oranges. I zested this earlier for time purposes. Okay, so that is the actual cake. I've gone ahead and preheated the oven. Tonight we're baking at 350 degrees. So that's the baking. The oven is already ready for us to get going. Now for the frosting, we're going to make a luscious buttercream frosting, but it's going to be infused with real orange juice. And then we're going to tint it orange with some gel paste, gel food coloring. Also, we have some powdered sugar here. We have 2 sticks of unsalted butter. And then for our ganache, we have 1 pack of semi-sweet chocolate, baking chocolate, that we're going to use heavy cream with to give us the nice ganache. And also, I failed to mention in the cake, we're going to have 1 teaspoon of vanilla flavor. And in our pans, we're going to be using an 8-inch pan. And if you can see, I've already went ahead and dusted my pan. I went ahead and dusted it with butter, and then I put cocoa inside and just turned my pan along the side to get the sides covered. So you can see that. Also, we have a hand mixer and a regular bowl to make our cake in. Tonight is going to be really fast so we can get this done quickly. We're going to begin by putting in our flour. Excuse me. And we're going to add our sugar. These are all of our dry ingredients. And then we're going to put in our salt, baking powder, and baking soda. And we're going to drop that right in, and I'll have the measurements in the description box so you'll know exactly how much to put of that in for your 3-layer 9-inch cake. So we're just going to mix that together, and then we're going to add in our cocoa. Let's go ahead and get our cocoa in. Mix that together. And now we're going to go ahead and add in our orange zest. all that in. That's where all of the flavor is. So delicious. We are going to continue to mix our cake in this bowl, our dry ingredients. Okay everyone, here we are mixing up our dry ingredients so you can get a closer view of what I'm doing. We're going to mix all these dry ingredients together. And then we're going to add in our hot water. We're going to add in our eggs. I have 2 eggs here. Put those in. We're going to add in our vegetable oil. We'll add in our buttermilk. And we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And we'll clear away these items. Now we're going to go ahead and use our hand mixer so we can get everything mixed nice and evenly. And we're going to get our hand mixer going. Excuse the noise. There we go. We don't want to over mix this, so we're going to stop here. And then I'm going to take my now I'm going to use my spatula the rest of the way to avoid over mixing. And as you'll notice, this cake is a very watery cake, so it won't be very thick. The batter will be very watery, as you can see. There we go. So now we're going to pour in our cake pans. Now we're going to pour the batter into our cake pans. So here is a second pan that I wanted to show you how to go ahead and dust up with butter. And all I did was just take a paper towel and put some butter on it, like so, just like that. And then I just went inside the pan with the paper towel, clean paper towel, and dusted the inside of the pan. And now I'm going to take the remaining cocoa that I had in this pan and just shake it right over into that one. And we may need a little bit more to cover the bottom. Well, no, we may not. We might get away with this. Okay. So now we're just going to take this excess and run it along the side of the pan and the bottom of the pan so we can make sure to cover this and keep our cake from sticking. So we're almost there, almost there. And there we are. Nice and covered, as you can see. Okay. So let's go ahead and get rid of the remainder of that. Sink. Okay. Now we're going to evenly distribute this cake, the batter in the pans. Okay. Okay, actually I'm going to use 1 pan tonight. And the reason I'm going to switch and use one pan tonight is because my pans are 3 inches high. So this cake is going to come straight up to the top of this pan and will give me my 2 layers because I'm going to separate this because again this is a small cake. But again the directions will be for a 3-layer 9-inch cake. And typically when you buy your pans in the store, they're 1 inch. So again, I switched. Instead of using 2, I'm using 1 now. So we're going to go ahead and put this cake in the oven and I will be right back, and we'll go ahead and get started on the frosting while we're waiting for this to bake at 350 for about 35 minutes. So I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and start making this delicious frosting, buttercream, orange buttercream, while we're waiting on our cake to bake. So we've got 2 sticks of unsalted butter. And again, I'm making a smaller batch of this. I'll give the directions for a full batch since I have a small cake. And we're going to go ahead and start our mixer on low to go ahead and cream our butter really good until it gets a beautiful pale color. Okay. Just a couple of minutes here. Increase our speed. Excuse that noise. Not quite sure what that is. But we're going to cream our butter and stop it here. And you'll notice that it's a pale color now versus the very intense yellow that it was. Now we're going to add our sugar, our powdered sugar. Now I'm eyeballing this because I don't like a lot of sugar in my frosting. So again, I will put the accurate amounts in the description box for you to use for a full recipe of this delicious frosting that we're making this evening. So when we have powdered sugar, to avoid a powder shower, we're going to start low, as you can see here. Okay. Now we are going to go ahead and add some of this delicious fresh orange juice that you may have to give a stir because of the settling of the oranges there. So let's go ahead and pour some of this in here. And not much, we're just going to eyeball this again too. So I think I used about 1/4 of a cup. Here we go, there we go. That smells amazing. You smell the oranges right away. Go ahead and give that a good whirl so we can get our consistency correct for spreading. Oh, that smells amazing. I smell the fresh oranges in there. Okay. Now, just a tinge of vanilla flavor there. Mix that around really good. Okay. Just a little bit more of the orange juice. Just a little bit more of that. Okay. And again, we're going to give that a good whirl. Okay. And now we're going to take our orange color and we're going to put a healthy squirt of that in our pan. In our bowl, rather. Excuse me. Now we're going to give that a whirl, and look at that. Beautiful, beautiful orange coming to life. So we're going to beat that around a bit. Oh, this is going to be gorgeous. This cake is going to be amazing. Yum, yum. There we go. So I'm going to go away. We're going to let this beat for a good 5 minutes so that we can get a really good buttercream going here. And when we come back, the cakes will be done and we'll have them cool. And then we will make our ganache once they cool and put this cake together. Be right back. Hey everyone, let's check this cake. And oh my goodness, look at that. That looks amazing. Look at that. Now we're going to test it with one of our really nice long toothpicks, and we're going to test for doneness. And this cake really should go another 5 minutes just to be on the safe side. So let's put her back in for about 5 more minutes, but she looks amazing so far. And we'll be right back. Okay, everyone, we are back. 5 minutes has gone by and our cake is amazing. And it is clean and ready to cool. So I'm going to take this out and let this completely cool. And to get this to cool even quicker, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the freezer. And then we're going to come back and begin frosting our cake and adding our ganache. Be right back. So what we're going to do now is tort our cake, and I'm going to get 3 layers out of this. So I'm going to make my first mark right here. And all you're going to do is turn. It's good to have a turntable when doing this. Put one hand on top of the cake. Don't cut into the cake. What you're doing is just giving yourself a line. And as you turn, that knife is automatically going to go. Now see, you're back to the beginning. And you're right on the point. So you're going to continue going around in a circle. And let the knife and the table, now you can go ahead and start moving your knife throughout the cake. And just keep turning, staying in your line as you go around. Feel for the knife on the other side. And just keep turning, keep turning. And then your knife will automatically come out. That's one layer. Okay? So now we want one more layer. So we're going to have a 3-layer cake. So again, we're going to go right along the edge here. You can see that. What I'm doing is just making myself a nice little line to cut. Now I'm back to the beginning. See? I'm back to the beginning. Right here. Right here. So you got a line here. Now you're just going to go ahead and go around the cake using your turntable to help you guide that knife through the cake. And then you're going to go ahead and the knife is going to come out on the other side. And there you are. Now just take one layer here, your cake board, and let one slide it through. Grab off the first layer. And there you are. Look at that beautiful chocolate cake there. It's still very warm. So we're still not going to be able to frost it yet, because if we do, it's going to melt our icing. So now you're going to put one layer on top. Then you're going to take your knife and be very, well, that's very, very hot. So let's see. We had better let this stay here for a moment until that cools down, because if you lift that while it's very hot, it's going to tear on you, and you don't want to do that. So we're not going to be able to rush this. That's the one thing about baking. You cannot rush it. So let's just stop here and let that cool before we lift that second layer up. Be right back. Hey everyone, I've gone ahead and tested our frosting to make sure that it's safe to put on our layers, and as you can see, it is. So we're going to put a nice healthy layer of frosting on this cake. And to avoid getting a lot of crumbs in your icing, you need to start with a healthy, and do not touch the cake if possible. It's okay if you get them in there. I mean, it's alright if you get the crumbs in on these layers, but you don't want it on your outside layers. So here we have a nice, even coat of icing with some crumbs, but it's okay because it's on the inside. So there we go. Nice and even. Okay. Now we're going to take our second layer that I was able to move with this device, and you want to have something that's sturdy because these layers are very, very fragile and they can break on you. If they break, it's okay because no one will see that once you've frosted your cakes. But if you can help it, try not to lift them without something very sturdy because it will break on you. Now we're going to add our second layer of frosting, trying not to get any crumbs on it. And again, by taking a nice healthy amount, that keeps your cake, your knife, your tool from touching the cake. It's only touching the frosting. So that's how you keep yourself from getting icing crumbs, cake crumbs in your icing. Okay, this is going to make it so that we have a naked cake, which is one without a whole lot of icing on the side, which is what I want because this icing is a little bit sweet, and I don't like a lot of sweet icing on my cake. So we've got a little crumbs on this one, so you don't want to put your crumbs back into your good cake icing. You want to scrape it off onto a bowl because we got a few crumbs on that one. So now we're going to take our clean spatula again and go right back on it, and we're going to cover up where we have the little crumbs. See? No one's going to know that. So now we're going to finish off this layer here and add our final layer. Again, this is our dirty icing right here. This is our clean icing. So now we're going to add our final layer. And this layer, I want to turn it upside down because it's the top layer and it had a little dome on it, but that's okay. There we go. There we go. Now we are going to add our final coat. Well, this is actually a crumb coat, excuse me. So on a crumb coat, you can use the dirty icing because this is going to go into the freezer for just a few minutes. So what we're going to do is let that firm up so that we can add our final coat. So this is all we're going to use for our crumb coat because you only need a very thin layer. And again, this is moving a little bit because the cake is still rather warm. You really don't want to do this when your cake is warm, but we're just going to continue to ice. And you see how we got crumbs everywhere? That's fine. This is our dirty coat or crumb coat. See? So when we put this in the freezer for about 15 minutes and come back, we can then put our clean coat on. So here we go. Only going to use this as our dirty coat or our crumb coat. As such. Again, remember to clean off your spatula when you're going back for more icing. Okay? And when I get through crumb coating this and letting this chill in the freezer for 15 minutes, we'll be right back and finish it off. Okay everyone, here we are back. Our cake is nice and chilled. Our crumbs are locked in and sealed. Now at this point you want to make sure you have all crumbs off of your cake board so that you don't get crumbs on your final coat. But because we're adding ganache, it really won't matter. But I'm just saying that in case you don't want to add ganache. So now we're going to add our final coat. And again, be very careful not to let your knife touch the cake. Your knife should only be touching the icing. This way, we get no crumbs in our beautiful orange icing. So we have just a little bit. We got to be very careful. Now this is, I'm going to go ahead and do this all the way around. Now again, see, you're going to put a healthy, see, there are no crumbs in that, none. Or one little scraggler, but we'll just be careful going. But see how I'm putting that right there? And you got a huge amount of icing there. And you want to just take your cake, use your cake turntable and the knife and just go around that carefully. See? There are no crumbs. All you have is a beautiful orange icing. Take another big dollop, and again, just let it lay on the cake. Take your spatula and lightly go around the cake, being careful not to let your spatula touch the cake. See? So I'm going to go away and finish this and come back and show you the final once I've got it all frosted. Be right back. Okay, everyone. I just wanted you to see this is the messy final coat that we're getting ready to make very pretty. Again, we want to make sure we have all the chocolate hidden. See? No crumbs, no crumbs showing at all. So now, we've got a clean spatula. Take your spatula, and actually you could use a smaller one if you want, but either one will work fine. And just go right up the side of your cake, just like this. So you're making little bitty stripes up the side of your cake. See? Just right next, overlapping them a little. So now you have a nice design on your cake. Okay? Don't keep too much frosting on there. But you see we have no chocolate showing at all. And we've got a nice little pattern going along our cake. Okay? And now we're back to the beginning. And there we have it. Now we're going to take our spatula on the flat side. And we're just going to get that excess and then take a paper towel and clean that off. Just want to get that excess icing off. Like so. See? Just take your knife and gently go up. Now, to clean up this top, you're going to take your spatula and just go right across the edge. See? Just lay it on an angle and go right across. See? So you're just going to go right across the edge. You see how it's cleaning up that edge? Right across. Don't dig into the cake. Just gently glide it right across so that you don't get those crumbs in your cake. And again, remember, this is going to be covered with ganache, so the top part is. So, but still, you want to be careful in case you don't want the ganache. See how that's extra right build up right there? You'll see it from this side. See it? So you want to just take your spatula and gently pull it in. Gently pull it in. Gently pull it over into the middle of the cake. Gently pull it over into the middle of the cake. Okay, we got a little bit of chocolate crumb right there, but that's okay. Just take a little bit of the extra icing and go right over it. Because remember, We're going to be covering that. But you don't want to have to do that. You want to be careful. Okay, I think we're there. Now you just take your spatula across the top and just lightly, gently smooth out your top. Like so. Okay? So just lightly smooth over your top layer. As such. Okay? So now we're going to get a paper towel. And we're going to just gently go right up the side of your cake. Like so. Get rid of the excess. So that it'll be nice and neat. Nice neat finish on there. Okay, just go right along the edge. Because you want a clean cake board when you take this cake to the party or serve it to your family at home. So you see, we got a nice little pattern, and you know, you can, there's a spot there that looks like I missed. So see, just take it right up to the top and spread it over. And all you're doing is making small lines. That's it. Up the side. To begin with. More advanced would be using your bench scraper and making it smooth all the way around. That takes a lot of practice. So we're not going there yet. We're going to stay right here for a minute. Okay? So there you are. You've got a nice little pattern going on. If you don't want to go straight up and down, you can go sideways like this. It's up to you, whichever one you like. Cake decorating is just what makes you happy. See? So you're just going right along the side of your cake and making a nice little pattern. So you can go sideways if you don't want to go straight up and down. I think I like sideways. That's looking pretty good, actually. So just, you know, whatever you choose, whatever you like. The sideways is looking nice, though, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to stop because we can go on and on and on with that. Okay, so now we're going to turn our attention to the ganache. And I'm going to heat up the heavy cream, and I've gone ahead and already chopped up our chocolate, as you can see here. I've chopped up some of the chocolate to get ready for the ganache. And all I did was take the chocolate, because it came in squares, and I just chopped it just like this with a heavy knife, a big knife, so that it would melt easier once it hits that heavy cream, the hot heavy cream. So now I'm going to put some heavy cream in a cup, and then we're going to put that in the microwave for a few minutes to get it hot, and I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, here we have our ganache. All I did was take those chopped pieces of chocolate and warmed the heavy cream in the microwave about, not a half a cup, about a quarter of a cup. And then I just poured it over the chocolate pieces slowly until they began to melt, to give me the consistency to do the drip, as you can see here on the side. So all you're going to do for your drip is just take some of your chocolate and just put it right along the edge of your cake and just let it slowly drip down, like so. This is going to give you your drips. Not much, just enough to get your drip going. Okay, I went a little bit overboard there on that one, but that's okay. We'll clean that up in just a minute. So you just want to go around your cake slowly along the edge to get your drips going, like so. And if one doesn't go long enough, just go put a little bit more and let it come down. So you're just going to go along the side of your cake and let your drips come down, like so. And just keep doing that all around your cake. And as you go around the cake, you're going to get your drips. And we're going to clean all that up in a minute where it's really flowing there, because the consistency is so that it'll allow you to have the drips. Just keep going all around till you get to the end there. All the way around. Just on the edge of your cake. Okay, and there we are. We're at the edge of our cake. And now we have our drips all the way around of this amazing ganache. I want to go finish that one off. Okay, okay. Got a little hole here. Let's put one right here. Just start it right on the edge there, and there you go. Okay, now I've gone ahead and added some frosting in a bag with a piping tip. And this is a 1M piping tip. And all we're going to do is just make some really nice rosettes along the top where your chocolate starts. And just put an even amount of pressure all the way around your cake. Like so. Cover up that chocolate one so nobody will ever see that. Okay. And just go all the way around. I hope I don't run out because I didn't make a full batch. But you get the picture. Just go all the way around like so. And it doesn't look like I'm going to have enough. But you're going to have a full batch. So you'll be able to finish out yours. Okay? So let's just pretend I had enough to finish. Okay? So now we're going to take our spatula again and clean up our board as best we can of this extra chocolate that we don't need. It's okay if we have that bottom like so. And if you have enough icing left after doing your top, you can put a nice row of roses along the bottom edge as well. But right now we have a chocolate edge, which still looks just as nice. So basically you're just cleaning up your board at this point. So you're going to take your paper towel and do the same thing that we did earlier as best you can, and just clean up your board all the way around. All the way around. It's a lot of excess chocolate. Now this cake would look amazing if it was about 4 layers high, but for demonstration purposes we went 2 layers high. But if it was 4 layers, it would be amazing because the drips would really look good, because it would be a huge cake, a very tall cake, which is what drips really look good on, is a very tall cake. So get another piece of tissue here, paper towel, and finish that off. And that is looking pretty darn good to me. And we're going to cut this and let you see the inside and put it on a platter. Be right back. Well, here we are again with another amazing cake. This one is our orange and chocolate cake with ganache drip, and it smells amazing, and I know it tastes amazing. So I hope that you really enjoyed watching another one of my videos tonight, and I hope that you'll come back and see us again. And if you'd like to see any of my work, please visit my Instagram page at Sherry's Sweet Sensations with a Z. And if you're in the Atlanta area and need some baking needs, please just look me up on Instagram, and my email address is going to be shown at the end of the video. And again, I'd like to thank all my new subscribers that have come along, and I hope that you're enjoying the cake recipes and the decorating, and we have a lot more to do. So why don't we cut this cake? Let's cut a slice. Be right back. Okay everyone, I've gone ahead and cut the cake, and it looks amazing. We have our beautiful 3 layers with our frosting in the middle, and they're even layers. So now we're going to give this a taste, and I'm sure it's going to taste just as good as it looks. And you'll see it's very moist. We didn't need any simple syrup on this because it's very moist. So, oh my God. That's the bomb. That is so good. You're going to love this cake. I hope that you'll give it a try. Your guests will truly, truly want you to make it over and over again. Again, until next time, be sweet, and thank you for joining me.